Hey guys, it's Mrs. Matheson. We are going to be doing Unit 10, Notes 2 on translations and rotations. Our objectives today, I can translate and rotate two-dimensional figures in a coordinate plane about the origin. Alright, so let's just get in and talk about, well, what does it mean to be a translation? Here's two examples of translations. And a translation is also known as a slide. And you'll want to write this down and have that because it will be on our quiz and on our test. A translation is a slide. It moves all points of the original figure the same distance in the same direction. So we're just moving our figure the same distance in the same direction. All right, so it says translate triangle EFG to the right 2 units and up 5 units. Sometimes you will see this written as 2, 5. Or maybe they might say plus 2 plus 5. Or they might say x plus 2 y. Oops, that's not a very good y. Y plus 5. All of those are going to represent the same thing. All right, so let's go ahead and graph this first one. So -7, -1. Don't forget to label it. And then f is -4, -4. And g is -3. Oh, that first one is -7, -1. Sorry about that. Let's try this. E now over here, and g is -3, -1. All right. So there's our triangle. Now we're going to come up with our new points. We're going to use our different color, E prime, F prime, and G prime. Again, we have to do a different color and label. So now we're going to take our -7 and we're going to add 2 to it. So -5. We're going to take our -1 and we're going to add 5 to it. So we get 4. 4 -4 is going to turn into -2, 0. And then our -3, -1 is going to turn into -1, 4. So let's go ahead and graph those. Remember, in your different color, and we have to label them. So -5, 4. And that's our E prime. -2, 0 is our F prime. And -1, 4 is our G prime. And we've just completed our first translation. All right. So next one says translate the square JKLM -3, -4. All right, so that means we're going to take our x coordinate and we're going to -3. We're going to take our y coordinate and we're going to -4. So I'm keeping that in the back of my mind. Pause your video and go ahead and draw the first original figure. All right, let's compare. And now let's find our new prime points, J prime, K prime, L prime, and M prime. All right, so J prime, so J is going to go to 0, 0. Okay, and all I'm doing is taking my 5 and I'm minusing 3, and my 2 and I'm minusing 4. My L is going to go to 4, 0. And my M is going to go to 2, 2. So let's go ahead and graph those points. Again, we're labeling them prime, and we're using a different color. Prime, 2, 2, prime. And we've just done 2 successful translations. All right, let's move on and talking about rotations. A rotation is also known as a turn. Again, write that down. It's probably going to show up on a quiz or test. It is a transformation around a fixed point, and that fixed point is called the center of rotation. It's through a specific angle and direction. All of the fixed points we're going to use is just going to be the origin, and our direction is always going to be counterclockwise. So the only thing that's going to change for us is our angles. So we have a 90-degree rotation, a 180-degree rotation, and 270-degree rotation. So our 91 says to rotate a point 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin, multiply the y coordinate by -1, and then interchange the x and y coordinates. So let's start with a point P, and it's at 5, 2. So we're going to multiply the y coordinate by -1. So our current y coordinate is 2, and so we're going to make that a -2. And then we're going to interchange or switch the x and y. So that makes our new point -2, 5. So that's our P prime. So if we look at our point, it's like we took that point and we went and rotated it 90 degrees. All right, 180-degree rotation is counterclockwise about the origin. It says you multiply the x and the y coordinates by -1. So not too bad for that one. Let's use P at 5, 2. All right, we're going to multiply our x and our y coordinates by -1. Don't have to switch them, so we get -5, -2. P prime at -5, -2. And our last rule, 270-degree rotation counterclockwise about the origin. You're going to this time multiply the x coordinate by -1, and then you're going to interchange the x and y coordinates. So let's try P at 5, 2 again. This time our x coordinate, which is 5, is going to get multiplied by -1. So we get -6 or -5, and then we're going to switch them. So we get 2, -5. That's our P prime at 2, -5. All right. Let's use those and come up with some rotations. All right. They give us our original triangle. We're going to graph it, and then we're going to have a 90-degree rotation. So go ahead and graph the original one, and that is 1, 1, 4, 5. Oops, that's a P. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Q, and then our R is at 5, 1. All right. So we have our original figure graphed. Again, we're thinking different color. P prime, Q prime, R prime. All right. So it's a 90-degree rotation. So looking at the chart above, it says we're going to multiply the y coordinate by -1 and then interchange the x and y's. So looking at P, my y coordinate's -1. So I'm going to, or I mean, it's +1. So I'm going to make that a -1. That's now my y or x coordinates. My Q, my 5 is my y coordinate. So now it becomes -5 and becomes my x coordinate. And my R is is 5, 1. So I'm going to take that 1 and times it by -1. So -1, 5. All right, pause the video and go ahead and draw our new figure. All right, let's compare. So it's taking those points and we're just turning them 90 degrees. So again, we're not sliding in this one like we do with our translations. So the actual figure is completely rotating. All right, let's do another one. This time we have again a triangle. So let's go ahead and graph those 3 points. I'm going to pause. You guys can totally graph these on your own. All right, check out that triangle. This time we're going to rotate 270 degrees. So the rule above says multiply the x coordinate by -1 and then interchange the x and y. So our J prime, K prime, and L prime. All right, so multiplying the y coordinate by 1, or I mean the x coordinate by 1, and then switching them. So let's see here, in problem J, letter J, my x coordinate is 3, so that's going to become -3 and become my y coordinate. My y coordinate became my x coordinate. K, my x was 1, so that's now going to become -1 and become my y coordinate. My L, my 5 was my x coordinate, so now it becomes -5 and becomes my y coordinate. All right, let's go ahead and graph these new points. So -7, -3 is J prime. K prime is -1, -1. And then our L prime is -3, -5. All right. Good. Nice work. Okay. In the last three problems, we're just going to use what we have learned. Here we have a hexagon that's shown below. What's the image of point T after a 90 degrees rotation? So T now, the ordered pair is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. All right. 90-degree rotation, the rule says we're going to multiply the y by -1 and interchange the x and y coordinates. So if our y is 3, it becomes -3, and we switch it with our x's. Problem 6, we have a triangle. Again, we're going to take point Q and we're going to do a 90-degree rotation. So 4, 5. So my 5 becomes negative and switches spots with my x. And last one, describe the translation of the soccer ball from position 2 to position 3. All right, so we're starting here. Now remember when we talked about translations, we talked about what happens with the x first. So that's left and right. So if I'm at point 2 and I need to go to point 3, I'm going to go right 3. Or we can do something like this. Then, and that 3 comes from 1, 2, 3. Then I describe my up and down, and here I'm going to go down 2. Or I can say minus or -2 there. Two different ways. The important part here is that we're remembering that we're doing both left and right, and then up and down, and that you start at position 2, and we're going to position 3. All right, we'll see you guys later.